Aloha! I am back reading the actual story now, Dog in the Sea Waves, from your Journeys book, also available on Think Central, and this is lesson 24. I introduced the vocabulary and author's purpose on my previous little video, and now I'm going to read you the story and I'll show you the illustrations. It starts out like this. 5 brothers explore the Hawaiian Islands. Manu, the youngest brother, saves the life of an injured seal, and the two become friends. When it's time for the brothers to go home, Manu is unsure if he'll ever see his friend again. In the days when the sun, the moon, and the stars guided birds with seeds in their bellies to these islands, when ocean waves brought driftwood teeming with life, when storms brought frightened birds in the clouds and insects on the wind, the Hawaiian Islands grew green and lush. The streams and lagoons rippled with fish, and the forests splashed with the feathers of birds and the rainbow wings of insects. So here are those little animals that I was talking about that you'll see in your Think Central version of this book as well. That was the Oahu tree snail and the belted wrasse. The Hawaiian Islands welcomed all life that made the long, long journey to its shores. And some 2,000 years ago, they embraced the first people to come. In those days of first canoes, first footprints, first campfires, there were 5 brothers who came from their home far to the south to explore these islands. They were Hoku, who loved the stars, Neela, who loved the sea, Opua, who loved clouds, Makani, who loved the wind, and Manu, who loved birds. And this is a Kamehameha butterfly that you're going to see on this page. And hopefully my pronunciation is pretty close on those names. One night, soon after their arrival, Hoku said, "See, my brothers, that new star I've discovered? It always points north." Everyone except Manu looked up at the sparkling North Star. Everyone except Manu began talking excitedly about all the other new things they had discovered. "New things!" Manu exclaimed. "I miss the old things. Where are the coconuts, the bananas, the sweet potatoes? And how about the pigs, the chickens, the dogs?" "We'll go home and bring these things back here with us," said Hoku. "We're coming back?" Manu cried. "I don't want to come back. I just want to go home." But home was a long ocean voyage away, and there was much to do before they could leave. Food and water together, and sails to repair. So no one spoke. And these are the illustrations for those pages. The next day, as the brothers were exploring the lagoon, Manu spotted an animal lying at the water's edge. "It's a dog, my brothers, a dog!" At last, something familiar in this strange land. But when they got close, they saw that it was like no dog they had ever seen before. It had flippers for legs, a fish's tail, and the body of a dolphin, and it was badly hurt. Manu tried to calm the animal. He brought cool water and cleaned the wound. He built a shelter against the sun and kept the fur wet with seawater. The brothers left Manu. They had no time for an animal that was going to die. They had to prepare for the long sea voyage home. But the animal didn't die. "I will call you Dog of the Sea Waves," Manu said on the 3rd day as he fed him fish. At the end of the week, the two had their first swim together, and before long they were playing tag in the waves. Manu made up a silly chant. "Dog of the sea waves, dog with no paws, dog with no ears, dog with no egg. We're friends." Manu giggled, and the dog of the sea waves tickled his cheek with his whiskers. And of course we know that the dog of the sea waves is a seal. And here's a little picture of a granulated cowrie. "Come help me dry berries and roots for the voyage home," called Hoku. "We need fish," scolded Neale. "There's water to gather," scolded Opua. "And sails to repair," cried Makani. But Manu pretended not to hear. Instead, he and Dog of the Sea Waves played together and got into all kinds of trouble. They terrorized the fish Neale was trying to catch. They made a mess of the beach where Hoku was drying food. They played with Makani's ropes and accidentally pulled Opua's gourds off the boat, tripping Makani, who fell into the water. No one laughed. The two were separated, and Manu was put to work. Manu gathered berries for Hoku. He caught fish for Neale. He fetched water for Opua. He twisted rope for Makani. But every evening after his work was done, he slipped off to meet his friends, and they played in the waves until it got too dark to see. Then Manu swam ashore, and Dog of the Sea Waves went hunting for food. After many months of hard work, the boat was finally ready to leave. At the last minute, Manu dived into the water to say goodbye to the Dog of the Sea Waves. As the brothers yelled for Manu to get aboard, Dog of the Sea Waves brushed his whiskers against Manu's cheek and disappeared beneath the waves. And here's a picture of a Hawaiian raspberry. So here they are doing some tricks, and then here they're getting ready to leave, and the seal is saying goodbye. The brothers sailed down the island chain. When they came to the last island, Opua said, "Is that a cloud on the side of that mountain, or smoke? Let's go see." Curious, the brothers anchored their boat in a quiet bay and swam ashore. Halfway up the mountain, Makani felt a warm wind and hesitated, but his brothers told him not to worry. After a few more steps, Manu noticed that the birds were silent, but his brothers paid no attention. Then, a jolt. The earth heaved up and slammed the brothers to the ground. Deep cracks appeared, then flames. Can you guess? Hoku grabbed Manu's hand, and the brothers fled down the slope, but a river of fire cut them off from the sea and forced them to the cliffs. The earth shuddered, and the 5 brothers jumped into the sea far below. Here they are running away from the volcano, and then you can see the name of that bug there that I'm not sure how to pronounce. But the sea they landed in was a monster, so personification. It thrashed from the earthquakes. It hissed from the burning lava. It lashed out at the brothers and grabbed Manu. In an instant, he was gone. Makani filled his lungs with air and went to the very depths of the ocean, but there was no sign of Manu. Opua, with his voice like thunder, shouted for Manu above the crashing waves, but there was no answer. Neali, who loved the sea, begged for it to be calm, but it wouldn't listen. So the sea has come to life. All this time, Manu was fighting to get to the surface, but the sea wouldn't let go. Then he felt the whiskers. Manu clasped his arms around Dog of the Sea Waves, and up they went. And here's a picture of a dragon moray, which is a type of eel, and a pom-pom crab, which is quite cute. And here are the brothers looking for Manu, and then Manu being rescued. It was Hoku who spotted them. The brothers raced toward Manu and cradled him above the waves. "Manu, Manu," they cried over and over as they made their way to the boat. And to Dog of the Sea Waves they chanted their thanks. "Dog that swims the depths, dog that braves the currents, dog that knows the sea, dog that cares for our brother." The brothers then weighed anchor and headed for the southern sea and home. Manu stood on the deck and listened to Dog of the Sea Waves barking goodbye. "We'll be back," Manu shouted. And here is the illustration, and then here's that happy faced spider that I was telling you about. And when they returned, they came with their families. They embraced the land and made it their home. And that is the end of that story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you figured out what do you think the author's purpose was in this story, and what was some evidence. If you're interested, there is an informational text on page 334 following your story, and this talks about volcanoes, and this is very interesting informational text. It's called The Land Volcanoes Built, and it's by Patricia Ann Lynch, and it has some great diagrams and some information about volcanoes. Aloha.